Hey guys, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Don here. I want to talk a little bit today deeper about something called Delegate Solutions. So, what is this? Now, there's kind of like a continuum of getting stuff done for you. Okay? So I've been through this continuum for a while. I don't have the privilege of having a medical assistant or a staff to do stuff that I want to get done, but I think that it is important. And so this is on the continuum. And so I want to be very clear. I'm not currently using Delegate Solutions, but I will kind of explain how it works on the continuum of delegation. So first of all, when I have something to do, an idea, I tend to use something called an impact filter. This is something that I learned from Dan Sullivan to see if it's a good idea. Basically, you think of, what's the purpose, what's the ideal outcome, what's the best that could happen, the worst that could happen, and then what are the success criteria. So that's, if you want to look up that, you just type in Dan Sullivan impact filter. He's got a nice book on it. And then, that's kind of selling myself on that idea. And another thing I tend to do is I put it off a week, or I put it off 2 weeks, and if it's still a good idea, it'll come back to me. Okay. So let's say I do have a good idea, in my mind anyway. Then what I do is I first think of, well, who can do it? Is there anyone in my office that can do it? If they can't do it, then they can't. And then the next thing I think of, well, is there someone like out there that can do it, like on Fiverr? So Fiverr is where they do like specific jobs, and they can do like one-time things like do design work, or they can do video editing, or they can do like these things like that. And then if they can do that, great. If they can't, and it's something more specific, or there's a lot of different steps to it, then I'll try to do fancy hands. So fancy hands are for individual projects that I need done that are on a periodic basis. And that's what you use them for individual things. Now, fancy hands, you could do similar things with Delegate Solutions as you can with fancy hands, but the next step up with fancy hands, with Delegate Solutions, is basically and the other thing you could do virtual assistant. But let me explain the difference. So with Delegate Solutions, you actually have an actual person that you explain what you need done, and they are the ones that delegate to other people. Like, they're going to use a virtual assistant for this, they're going to use Fiverr for that, they're going to have someone in-house do this, they just basically get it done. Because they're like a project manager. You give them the project, and they'll find a way to orchestrate it. Let me give you an example. So for example, a lot of people now, you see them doing these podcasts, and then these podcasts get like show notes. They have highlights, quotes, a transcription placed on the website, all for keywords, and then they're sent out via email to everyone on their list. Like this type of stuff, a lot of times a podcaster, they just do the podcast, and then all this other stuff is done by another person. The one that could set this up for you would be like Delegate Solutions. Okay. Also, if you had like a website and you needed a whole website revamped, they could take on that whole project. So that any of these big projects they can take on for you. And there's different levels of taking this on. And this is just one of them. There are others. This is the one that I've heard of. This person is a member of Strategic Coach as well. And and then there's different like subscription amounts of how much it is per month and what they can do for you, or how many hours you have them. But it's kind of like having an admin person added to your team when you need them. So that's what Delegate Solutions is. I thought you might like it. A word about them. This is something I don't know if they're listening, they might like this, but I was interested in them, and I reached out to them just to learn more. And it was the most amazing conversation I had with this person, one of their probably salespeople, and they're very good at asking open-ended questions. So they asked all about me, what my goals were, what my interests are. Actually, they asked me kind of like, it's called the Dan Sullivan question. Like, hey, if I'm meeting here 3 years from now, what would make you happy with your success? What are the things that are dangers, opportunities, and strengths? Things like that we learn in Strategic Coach. But he asked me that, and this person, and then he said, basically, I don't think you're a good fit for Delegate Solutions where you're at right now. But I think you could use, like, for example, this coach, and it was a guy that was coaching with the traction method. So they referred me to someone else, which I thought was just phenomenal. Like, they're very clear on who they want to work with, and I wasn't a good fit for them. But so I respected that, but I really like that conversation call that they had with me. Anyway, that's Delegate Solutions. If you found that helpful, or if you want to learn more about like different delegation levels and fancy hands and all these things, and you want to do a strategy call with me, why don't you give me a call? Just put a link underneath here. We can set up a time. I basically use my lunch hour time, so you have to fit into my time if you want time with me. But it'll only be a half hour. Just block out some patients, and it'd be worth it. I think you're going to get some value, and you can pick my brain, and we can share different ideas with each other. Or you can send me an email at don@Podiatry Practice Mastery. Would love to know what you think about this, or what's working well for you with your delegation. Okay, guys, thank you.